I know that aria. Oh mio babino caro. It is by, no, don't tell me. Puccini. Ah, what a sweet melody that is. Sometimes I forget that I wrote it myself. Oh mio babino caro. Mi piace bella, bella, andar in Porta Rossa a comprar l'anella. Ah, forgive me. I have not yet introduced myself. I am Giacomo Antonio Domenico Michele Secondo Maria Puccini. But you can call me Maestro. I was born not far from here, in the town of Lucca, in the beautiful province of Tuscany. I come from a long line of church composers. But I am a man of the theater. The lights, the costumes, the drama, the ladies. Ah, how I love it all. I was 19 years old when I first arrived in Milan. Just a few lire in my pocket, but a heart full of dreams. With my talent and ambition, I could do anything. My life was an opera, and I was playing the leading role. It is beautiful music. Don't you agree? Grazie. La lingua italiana è la lingua dell'amore. The Italian language is the language of love. Speaking of love, while living in Milan, I fell for a beautiful woman named Elvira. Bellezza mia. There was one slight obstacle to our love. She was already married to a brute of a man, a greengrocer from Lucca. But we did not let that put us off. Elvira was a sweet woman of a kind nature and disposition. It was only later that she became difficult. In the beginning, it was love at first sight. My love for Elvira was the inspiration for my first big success, the opera Manon Lescaut. Suddenly, I had money. I decided to leave Milan for a quiet life in the country where I could write my music. Elvira, who was by then carrying my child, left her husband, and for a while people stopped talking about us. But still, the greengrocer from Lucca refused to give her a divorce. I rented this house here at Torre del Lago, and I started to work on my next opera, set in Paris, La Boheme. Some of my artistic friends from Milan came down to visit me. And they liked it here so much, they stayed for about 5 years. Well, outside in the garden, we built a little hut. And over the door we put a sign, Le Club de Boheme. Inside, my friends and I talked endlessly about hunting and fishing, fine wine and beautiful women. Later, we sat here, in this room. My friends over there at the table, playing cards, while I composed my music. And Giuseppe was always there to play for me, should I just want to sit and listen. Ciao, Giuseppe.
Ciao, maestro.
Those days of wine and friendship, how I miss them even now. Boheme was an even bigger success than Manon, and I made enough money to buy this house. I was a country gentleman with a successful career, and it had all happened so quickly. My publisher wanted me to look at a new play to set to music. It had been a big success in Paris, starring the actress Sarah Bernhardt. It was called Tosca. At last, I had the chance to create a truly evil character. The Baron Scarpia, chief of police in Rome. I based him on another villain in my life, the greengrocer from Lucca, Narciso Geminiani, that hateful womanizer who stood between myself and my happiness with Elvira. By now, we had a beautiful son together, Piccolo Antonio, and I wanted to legitimize my marriage. But the greengrocer would not permit it.
Tosca, nel tuo cuor s'annida scarbia. Tosca, e scarbia che scioglie volo il falco della tua gelosia. Quanta promessa del tuo pronto sospetto, del tuo cuor s'annida scarbia. Signora, would you like a banana? Tosca, doppia nera, tendo il voler nel capo del ribelle, e la più preziosa di quegli occhi vittoriosi veder la fiamma, il languir con spasimo d'amor fra le mie braccia, il languir d'amor. Al canestro, l'altra fra le mie braccia. Tosca, mi fai dimenticare Dio, eterno Patrem, omnis terra
After the success of Tosca, I bought a yacht. And I moored her on the lake outside the villa so I could see her every day through the window. My next opera was about a Japanese geisha girl, Madama Butterfly, So I named the yacht for her Cho-Cho-San. Some of the local village girls helped my wife with the cooking and cleaning. The halls were filled with the sound of their laughter. Silenzio. Il maestro sta lavorando. Elvira would say, be quiet. The maestro is working. My wife believed that I needed silence to write my music. But in truth, it was the vibrant sounds of life that filled me with inspiration. The Manfredi girls, Julia and Doria, cousins, you see. The older one, tough and resilient. The younger, fragile as a flower in spring. In the years that followed, it was the tragedy of Doria Manfredi that would break my heart to pieces.
Have you seen how he looks at me? Il maestro.
Julia, you are so bad.
But it's true. He loves me.
Shh! You mustn't say that.
Dearest Doria, how innocent you are.
Giuseppe, did you know I was one of the first men in Italy to own a private motor vehicle?
So they say, maestro.
Not so they say, maestro. It is true. My first motor car could travel at a speed of up to 8 miles an hour, meaning I could get from Lucca to Torre del Lago, a distance of about 27 miles, in just under 3.5 hours. But one evening, returning to the Villa Puccini, Elvira, Antonio, and I came off the road from Lucca to Torre del Lago. Thank God, my wife and child were thrown clear, unharmed. But the vehicle, with its engine still running, fell on top of me. My right leg was badly broken. I was in hospital for 3 months, and the leg did not heal well. Well, that is why I have this. All that time, I could not compose my music. Still to this day, I fail to understand why God should punish me by stopping me from writing my music. By a strange twist of fate, on the same night as my accident, Elvira's husband, the greengrocer from Lucca, died. He was killed by a jealous rival who caught him in bed with his wife somewhere near Bologna, if I remember rightly. It was all very tragic, but it finally left Elvira free to marry me. Something in my wife changed after the accident. She often seemed far away, looking out into the distance. I would call her name Elvira. Elvira. But get no answer. Soon, our little club de Boheme and all my dear friends started to argue and drift apart. I faced the future as an older man walking with a stick. I had searched to find these real people for my opera, La Boheme. But when reality came to my door, it was much harsher than I'd ever imagined.
Tu sei geloso, un poco collerico, lunatico, imputi di pregiudizi, noioso, cocciuto.
For incolenirne, poveretta.
Mi una civetta che frasteggia con tutti, un moscardino di viscontino le fallocchi di triglia, e la solea scopre la caviglia, non far promettente lo esiglia, devo dir, non mi sembri sincero. Ebbene no, non lo so. canto e sorride, il rimorso m'assale, me cagion del fatale mal che l'uccide. E far dunque?
Oh, mia vita.
Mi serra il fiore, Vecchia Zimarra, senti, io resto al pianto a scendere il sacro monte ordevi. Le mie grazie ricevi, mai non curvasti ai ricchi ed ai potenti, posar nelle tue tasche come in antri tranquilli filosofie e poeti. Ora che i giorni lieti fuggir ti addio, fedele amico mio. Addio. Addio.
As for the tragedy of Doria Manfredi, most of the time I keep it all in here, and I put the pain in my music. Doria was 22 years old when she came to work at the Villa Puccini. She was very pretty and shy, from a good family in the village. But right from the start, my wife took a dislike to her. I don't know why. She followed her everywhere, checking up on her, making her work much harder than everybody else. And if by chance she happened to find myself and Doria alone together in the same room, she would fly into a jealous rage. One morning, I decided to confront my wife. Elvira? Elvira? That poor girl, Doria, you make her life a misery. And as you make her suffer, you torture me also.
She is your whore. The whole village knows it. And the chauffeur is your accessory as he drives you and Doria on your secret trips around the lake.
Well, my wife is prone to drama, as you know. She inspired a few of my operatic heroines, but this time she had gone too far. I deny it completely and without reservation.
Liar! Admit it!
I shall never admit to something of which I am innocent. She left the room, and I tried to get back to work. But from the hall, I heard,
Doria! Doria!
She returned with poor little Doria held firmly by the wrist.
You have been carrying on with my husband, under my roof. No, this is true. Admit it.
Signora, I would never do that.
Squaldrina. Raccoglie queste carte.
Doria left the room, and I could hear her sobbing in the hall. The duet from Madama Butterfly filled my mind as I fell into a dream of lost love, never to be recovered. Giuseppe, you play my music with such feeling.
Maestro, è la musica più bella del mondo.
The most beautiful music in the world, you say? Ah, you flatter me too much. Please don't ever stop. Later that day, I had an appointment with a very pretty soprano from Milano. Rosa Raisa came to my music room to sing through an aria I had written. 10 years later, I put it in my opera La Rondine. But back then, it was just a melody I liked, and I wanted to hear it in the flesh, if you know what I mean. And it would be a welcome break from the dramas with my wife. Ah, here she is, my dearest Rosa.
Signor Puccini, it is such an honor.
Please, call me Maestro.
Ah, maestro.
Did you bring the aria?
I have it in here. It is beautiful.
It certainly is. Bene. Shall we begin? deliziosa, deliziosa. Esquisita, esquisita. Deliziosa, deliziosa. Ai vostri piedi tutte le grazie della primavera.
It is such an elegant aria.
For an elegant lady to sing.
I really must get back to Milan.
So soon?
Your partitura?
You can keep it. Things were quiet at the villa by the lake, but only because Doria had not come into work. When it was nearly a week, I asked my driver to take me to the Manfredi house, down the hill from here in the center of Torre del Lago. When we pulled up outside, all the little children ran around the car with much excitement. I often forget there were very few motor cars in Italy at that time, and mine was the only one in our little town on the Tuscan coast. Signore Manfredi came to the door with much haste.
Maestro! Maestro, I did not know that you were coming. I would have made preparations.
Signore Manfredi, I do not want to fuss. I am here merely to inquire about young Doria and to ask when she might be returning to work.
Soon. Subito. Presto. Te lo prometto.
The poor woman was bowing and curtsying as if she were meeting the King of Italy and not just a great opera composer. We greatly miss Doria and hope to welcome her back soon, Signore Manfredi. Arrivederci.
Grazie, maestro.
And with that, we drove off. To be honest, I thought nothing of it. But 3 days later, Giulia Manfredi brought the terrible news that Doria was gravely ill. She had swallowed poison, and her stomach was being corroded. After days in agony, she died. Our little maid had left a note, and in those final words, she blamed Elvira. She had taken the poison because of her feelings of humiliation after my wife's accusation. It was the worst moment of my life. A few months later, the coroner revealed that Doria had died a virgin. A virgin. My wife's accusations were proved false. And she was sentenced to 3 months in prison for slander. However, money talks. And when I paid a large sum to the Manfredi family, the matter was dropped. Elvira moved to Milan, taking Antonio with her. The villa fell into a deathly silence. The days were endless, and the nights were full of ghosts. I was a husband without a wife, a father without a child. Lucevan le stelle ed oleggiava la terra, stride l'uscio dell'orto e un passo sfiorava l'arena, entrava la fragrante, mi cadea fra le braccia. O dolci baci, o languide carezze, mentr'io fremente le belle forme di dai veni, svanì per sempre il sogno mio d'amore. L'ora è fuggito e muoio disperato, e muoio disperato. E non amato la vita, dando la vita. The days passed slowly. I was too old to go hunting and fishing So I just sat looking out over the lake for hours. Many's the time I thought of leaving the villa, retiring to Lucca, or to the sea air at Viareggio. But I knew if I could find the right story, I would bring one more opera to the world. It was then that I discovered the tale of Turandot, the icy princess who refuses to bow to any man. But there was something missing from the story. Something to give it heart. An innocent kind of love. So I created a new role for my opera. And I called her Liu. But really, she is Doria. The arias of the young servant girl who takes her own life. They would be the songs she never got to sing. And so it is. All these people from the past remain with me every day in here. As I stand surrounded by a haze of theatrical memories, oftentimes I cannot tell what is real or mere fabrication. But does it really matter? At least I am not alone. Le Club de Boheme. Those young men, full of life and hope, drinking wine and playing cards. The beautiful Manfredi girls who once brought such joy to the Villa Puccini. Even the villainous greengrocer from Lucca, he too served a purpose after all. Ah, Rosa Raisa, the prima donna assoluta. She sang the title role in the premiere of my opera, Turandot, conducted by Toscanini. Sadly, I was deceased and could not attend. All of them filled my life with inspiration, and they live on in my music. Perhaps this old opera composer may crave their indulgence with a grand finale to a life well lived. For listening to my story. I am a modest man, and talking about myself does not come easily. Turandot remained incompleted. But you'll be happy to know my wife and I reconciled. She came back to live here with Antonio, and we became a family again. When I died 100 years ago, they put me here under the floor of the Villa Puccini. And here is where I remain. The world still listens to my music. And with my fullest heart, I thank you all for that. Thank you. Giuseppe, could you play something for me? One of mine. You choose. The song from a young girl to an old man. I never tire of that one.
Oh,
Thank you.